Right, third time lucky? Shall we have a little go? We'll find out. Welcome back to the Unfan Podcast. Hopefully you can see and hear me this time. This is the third time we've tried to do this one live. Hopefully you're well. Welcome back to another predictions and preview show. We are doing this live. A few technical issues, but you should be all okay. Are we okay? Can we get a bit of confirmation, please? Got the live chat to the side of me. If you're watching this as a video, you can leave your thoughts in the comment section down below, previewing and predicting all of the action ahead of game week 27. Stream is about as reliable as Matty Taylor, says James Sue. Thank you very much for that. Someone just said more reliable than Sean Raggett. I like this. Can we name unreliable players in League One? I'm glad that we brought some conversation to the channel this evening. Let's continue. Please do leave a like. Common Jack W. Hello again. It wasn't the Common Jack W a couple of seconds ago when the internet site said, I'm blaming Virgin Media. Hope this one works. Third time lucky. John Messina's Blue and White Army. Please stay with me. Everyone should be here. Right, I'll leave my like for the third time, says Scott. I do appreciate that, Scotch. I really, really do. Right then, let's not mess about, because we've now got less time. I did say this for the first time, but you won't now see this if you watch this as a video. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. I'll be replying and responding to all of them as per usual. I'm going live on the 4-0 written all over it channel, so you can tune in at 7 o'clock over there to give my thoughts on John Messina being appointed as Pompey manager, of course, the current Oxford player coach. Right, I think the admin's done. Stream is more reliable. Yeah, we get it. It's more reliable than Ryan Innes. Michael Morrison, equally unreliable. Hey, Jack, did you see Max Bird won the goal at the weekend? Got to be the goal of the season so far. I did. It was a good strike. Alex Middleton says, and it's live. Yeah, in the words of Martin Tyler, we should be live. Right, let's go then. Let's just try. Shall we try? That's all we can do. Try. Before we switch over, because last time we switched over, it didn't quite go to plan, did it? But this should be okay. The stream was about as reliable as Caden Jackson. Up the Blues, says Jez Clee. There we go. I'm glad we're getting all these in. Of course, we've got a full round of fixtures on the Saturday. We're not spread over a Monday or Saturday this weekend, which is nice. It means we can get the round up and everyone can be involved. That should be okay. I'm just watching the stream back, by the way. That's why. There we go. I think it is okay. Right then, let's move on. 30 people watching right now. Please do leave a like and please do subscribe. I feel like I've said that 7 times, but this might be only the second time I've done it in this stream. Let's go over then to the first game. We'll come back to Derby versus Bolton Wanderers, because someone did say in the other live chat that was a big game, and it is. So we will leave that a little bit later on. Let's start off with Morecambe against Port Vale. Morecambe, of course, faced Peterborough United on the Monday night and lost 2-0. It was Darren Ferguson's 4th time in charge or something like that. Port Vale made sure it was the 4th time that Darren Ferguson had won his first game of his Peterborough reign. So, unfortunately for Port Vale, they did get on the wrong end of that record. And for Morecambe, you can see both these clubs on the league table now. Morecambe now outside of that bottom 4. 3 straight wins after 25 games, and have now got them away from the relegation zone. A couple of weeks ago, they were nailed on. I thought they were a side, along with Burton, along with Forest Green, that were going straight back down, but they've made it a little bit nervy for the likes of Cambridge and MK Dons, even Accrington. Cheltenham need to be very careful as well. They're going to be breathing down those necks, and they need to be very, very careful around them. They put pressure on the other clubs, and that's really, when you're down there, something you need to do as much as you need to do that at the top end of the table as well. As for Morecambe, 11th in the league, a little bit inconsistent, win-loss after 25 games, but 35 points. Port Vale are doing really, really well. Actually, both of these sides, of course, I'll try and get that right. Port Vale, of course, got promoted last season. Morecambe got promoted the season before that. So, they are sides that I think probably were tipped to go down by a lot of people at the start of the season, and Morecambe looked like they were going to pretty much certify that, but they had gone a little bit of a great escape recently, and as for Port Vale, they've had a really solid season really throughout. Looking at the bookies then, 29% to 48%, 34% to Morecambe. Port Vale have got a 58% chance of winning. I do see that. Port Vale have been better across the entirety of the season, but you can't argue Morecambe's recent form. They have been strong, and like I say, they're putting pressure on the clubs in and around with them in the relegation zone, in that relegation fight. Like I say, maybe the inconsistencies of Port Vale could be a little bit of an issue. Let's have a little look at what people have got to say in the live chat. 2-0 Derby, someone says, over there as well. We'll come on to that game. Morecambe on the rise. Morecambe win 2-1. Vale 2-0 win 1-1. 2-0 Vale 2-2. Good to see people are getting their thoughts in on there as well. Vale are playing without Wilson and Harrison at the moment, so we have no goal threat unless we sign a forward tomorrow. Andrew, that's a really good point. I didn't know that. And of course, we know Wilson and Ennis. Is it Harris? Is it his first name? Is it Ennis Harrison? I think it is Ellis Harrison, doing a really, really good job, and those two have been sort of that real focal point in this quite successful Port Vale season. So that is a good point, Andrew. That's where the live chat's important. 2-1 to Port Vale. Stockton Worldy incoming, says Alex Middleton. Only got one goal this season, Cole Stockton, so far. He has not been the same type of goal threat, but I've always been quite consistent in saying that Morecambe, if they are going to stay up, they need to get Cole Stockton getting the type of form he was last season, and actually they haven't done that yet. So, if he does start scoring, then who knows what Morecambe could be. They could be really quite safe. We'll have to wait and see. Confidence is massive, and there'll be a real belief around Morecambe because, like I say, they've got a lot to prove because a lot of people decided that they were going to be nailed on to go down. But they didn't help themselves because they did start the season sort of really, really quite struggling. Their relegation fight isn't over. You can see Cambridge United on 24 points for Morecambe as well, 25 for Accrington. It is quite close. So, yeah, that's that. Right then, let's move over to the next game then. We've got a lot of games to fire through. We've got to get finished before 7. We normally do take about an hour to do these sort of ones, so we've got to be quite quick with the predictions and the little chat when it comes to it. Lincoln City against Burton. Lincoln City fans will not be reminded of what happened in the reverse fixture of this game. Lincoln City got battered by Burton 3-0 on the road, and this was, again, part of their sort of scheme to try and beat teams below them in the league table, and they failed on that. Lincoln, of course, lost quite heavily to a side that are now back in that bottom 4. There's a little bit of a resurgence after back-to-back wins a couple of weeks ago, but now back-to-back losses, and on 22 points from 26 games. I do see Burton as still quite a struggling side. I think recently they got beaten by Shrewsbury. Was it the last game they played? Yeah, Shrewsbury 4-0. That was quite a hefty defeat, you'd say, and you don't know what you're going to get with Burton. I think Burton are one of those sides where we've seen them, example earlier this reverse fixture, they beat Lincoln City 3-0, and everyone went, what's happening there? And then they go and get battered at home to Shrewsbury. It's absolutely score loads or concede loads at the moment. You can see their goal difference, 54 goals conceded, but they actually scored 32, which is the most compared to any other club in that relegation zone. And actually, it's the most compared to any other club up until more goals than Portsmouth, interestingly, more goals than Shrewsbury, more goals than Oxford. They've actually got more goals than any other team up to 13th in the league. So they do score goals. They also do concede quite a few as well. Lincoln will be hoping they can sort of not continue the trend that was looking when they played each other a couple of weeks ago. But it's going to be really, really challenging. It's not going to be easy because Burton, they're going to smell blood after what happened last time. Right then, Lincoln, 42% chance of winning, 38% when it comes to specific odds. Burton, 32%, specifically 35%. So, again, it's actually closer than I thought, really. I think maybe Lincoln City's poor run of form, which you can see there, they are winless in the last 5 at least. I think it actually stretches a little bit longer than that, but it is quite a long winless run. A couple of good draws there, actually. They've drawn to Bolton in that sort of draw and defeat sprint they're currently on at the moment. They'll be hoping that sprint does slow up sooner rather than later. Ipswich, Bolton, but again, those defeats need to cut out, and all those other bits and pieces as well that are, I think, halting them and dragging and pulling them away from what, like I say, generally hasn't been a bad debut season for Mark Kennedy, of course, the new manager who joined in the summer. But again, there clearly is holes, there clearly are gaps and areas to be improved. We'll have to wait and see. Did I even predict the last game? I think I forgot the prediction. Did no one actually remind me that I actually forgot to predict the Port Vale game? That's embarrassing. Morecambe Port Vale, I'm probably going to go 2-1 Port Vale. Let me write these ones down. Morecambe 1-2 Port Vale, and then for this game, I'm probably going to go. See, I shouldn't be as confident with Lincoln because every time I do that, I seem to absolutely see them. They sort of capitalise, they sort of absolutely capitulate on my pressure, don't they? So I probably shouldn't do it. So I don't think Jake Tong's in the live chat. He normally is, of course, Lincoln City fan, but he won't be wanting to say this because I normally do jinx it a little bit. I'm going to go 2. Should we go 2-0 Lincoln? A few twos in there. I repeated myself a couple of times. I'm going to go 2-0 Lincoln. I believe in Lincoln, but every time I do believe in them, they seem to let me down a little bit. 2-2 is what I'm seeing from the live chat. 0-0 draw. 2-0 Burton. 2-0. 1-1 Lincoln are struggling. Burton have shown they can win at the reverse fixture. Exactly, Alex. I think that will be psychologically a little bit of a benefit, maybe for Burton, but then Lincoln could use that. Do it with Uno reverse card and go, right, we know really what to expect here. We don't want to be embarrassed 2 times in quite a short amount of time. Daniel Nathan says McKenna to Wigan. can't see it unless it is true. I don't know whether or not that is a rumour. If it is a rumour, then I wouldn't put my house on it. Evening or, by the way, says Andy Shippo. Up the Rams, 2-1 derby against Bolton on Saturday. Matt, you own Charlton. And that reminds me, because I've just seen it pop on the screen a little bit later, Matt MS has donated a lovely super chat. Matt, how you doing, my friend? Cheltenham Town fan. Brilliant YouTube channel following Cheltenham. Interested to give your thoughts, Cheltenham. Matt, on Cheltenham, because it has been a little bit of a frustrating couple of weeks, hasn't it, with Cheltenham and a few defeats in there. It looked like it was getting really, really good, wasn't it? And then it has sort of dipped a little bit now, maybe falling back into the concerns of relegation battle. Matt, I'm intrigued to see what you've got to say. Derby 2, Bolton 0, Mendes, Lang and McGoldrick. 2-2, up the Rams, 5-0 Derby, 5-4 Burton win. You know what, Pingo, you joke. I don't know whether you are joking or not, but if you aren't, then I wouldn't be surprised. In fact, we've got one there, example of a 4-4 between Burton. They do score goals, they do concede goals. 1-0 Burton, 1-0 Burton. A few 1-0s there. I'm going to go 2-0 Lincoln, though, which is completely against what the chat's got to say there. I saw more people swing towards Burton, interestingly. But we know that side does have a bit of a tendency this season to surprise a few people, but also get battered by a few people. So, swings and roundabouts, essentially. Right, then let's go to Barnsley against Accrington. Barnsley recently, a little bit of a drop-off. 2 defeats on the bounce. Now 6th in the league, 40 points. And we know, because of how tight it is around those playoff places, that you can't have a drop-off. And those last 2 results recently have been frustrating. A 3-0 defeat to Bolton. And also, you can see coming up there now, a 2-0 defeat to Charlton. So 2 sides really that, a couple of, you probably would expect a little bit better. The problem with Bolton was they had a red card really early, and that did sort of fall apart, or ruin the aspects of that performance and that plan that Michael Duff, I imagine, had set out going into that game. Losing 2-0 to Charlton, again, that's quite weird, because Charlton are on a bit of a bounce after sort of the horrible sort of first half of the season, and the real issues they've had, and then Dean Holden coming in, now getting a little bit of rhythm. They've now won 3 wins on the bounce. So that also was a little bit difficult to deal with, Barnsley. But if they want to be a serious side trying to get out of League One and be professional in that sense, they've got to see through that type of obstacle, if you like. Obviously, with the Bolton game, a red card slightly out of their control. Not really out of their control, but one player letting the side down essentially with a red card, and then the whole team has to adjust, and they didn't do it very well and struggled to adjust, which, again, you can give them a little bit of leeway. But either way, it's 2 defeats, and Michael Duff now's thinking, after a brilliant run, there has been a slight drop-off now. I'm seeing Accrington also 19th in the league, a win in their last game, of course, put the end to quite a winless streak of results. They weren't too impressed by, and that was seeing them slip a little bit closer into that relegation zone. But now on 25 points, it is tight, it is still very close, but again, you feel the experience and actually the result here that you can see coming up now, 2-0 against Bristol Rovers. That is an example of when John Coleman uses experience. He uses that experience of being a manager in League One, knowing Accrington really, really well, and again, that's a pivotal. You feel that's a massive result, and one that you look back on and go, when everyone thought that Bristol Rovers, who were in really good form at the time, we get beaten by them in a really good game. We turn out and we put on a really good show and get the 3 points. That is the most important thing, and that does give them a little bit of a cushion now when you look at the teams below them. Let's have a look at the other thoughts as well. 1-0 Bolton, 4-1 Pompey managerial bounce incoming. 3-0 Barnsley. Yes, not ideal, mate. Admittedly, we're playing some good sides. We played some good sides, but we need to start grinding out some results. Otherwise, it'll be cagey second half of the season for us. Yeah, I think that the sides and the opposition is an important factor, but 3 defeats on the bounce, 1 win, 4 defeats in the last 5 is obviously an issue, and because of how close it is the bottom half of the table, in particular the relegation zone, that type of form does see you slip and slip down there. But I think you'll be okay, Matt, I do. 5-0 Barnsley, Accrington are meh, and Barnsley are at home. Guys, Ronaldo versus Messi. I've always been a Messi guy, Shelley. Bolton Wanderers FC conceded 1 goal in 12 hours. Derby fans getting all excited playing us. Messi says, well, yeah, I'm more of a Messi guy personally. Charlton have scored 40 goals. At David Green, Bolton will be getting smashed. Up the Charlton, 2-1 Charlton, Lee Byrne and Blackett Taylor. Barnsley draw 1-1 in this game. I think Barnsley being at home, I think, is important, and that will play a part. And I know Accrington as well will make it really difficult. It won't be a smash and run for Barnsley. It will be, I think, quite a difficult game where they're going to have to dig deep. I'm going to go 2-1. I'm going to go 2-1 to Barnsley in this game. I think it won't be. I don't think it will be easy. I think Accrington are going to make it really challenging. And they've got a real tendency to do that, and they have done that throughout their time in League One, really, especially under the managerial reigns of John Coleman. Right then, let's move on to Bristol Rovers against Wycombe Wanderers. Bristol Rovers, of course, coming to this game with that defeat against Accrington that we have just spoken about. They'll be disappointed by that, especially after their 2 wins they had before that, getting them back into a playoff contention. They still are a part of a couple of more games played than the teams above them, which will be, it probably won't play on their side unless the other sides lose them, but they have played more games than Wickham, of course, are in that race with them. 26 games, Wickham 38 points. God, 26 points wouldn't be ideal for Gareth Ainsworth's side. 26 games, 11 wins and 10 defeats. So again, Wickham, there's quite a few games, 10 defeats in there, 11 wins. Again, I think the real example of how open this league is. You can lose 10 games and still be 8th in the league, only 2 points off the playoffs. Yeah, that's League One this season, very, very open, and it is a bit of a winner-takes-all every single week, you feel like. This is going to be a challenge for both sides, really. Wickham being the away side, I think home or away, Wickham are going to make it very, very difficult. We know Gareth Ainsworth is, of course, a master at that. However, both these sides lost their last game, and actually Sheffield Wednesday found a little bit of a loophole in Wickham's system. We've got a video coming out very soon talking about Sheffield Wednesday, and we do touch on the result between Sheffield Wednesday and Wickham last week. Actually, Wickham got Wickhamed by Darren Moore. You can see Wickham actually in the game. We can go back. I actually did a sort of a segment on it in the roundup as well, but they actually played Wickham. I know we're talking about Sheffield Wednesday, but actually, it is relevant to Gareth Ainsworth this side because that is the opposition. We know Wickham more effective when they don't have the ball. If Bristol Rovers maybe could have a little look at what Sheffield Wednesday did there, I imagine Gareth Ainsworth is very switched on. He'll know that he's got to probably deal with that and make suitable changes and then not get exposed again. But Sheffield Wednesday allowed Wickham to have the ball, and that massively, massively did I think shift the way the game was going to go. Just seen that Andrew Rawlinson says, two very feisty sides. Interesting. Daniel Leverton says postponed. Interesting. Is this game postponed? I don't know. Don't know if it is postponed. I doubt it is. No postponed. Is it postponed? I don't think it is. It would to postpone a game on a Thursday when the game's on a Saturday would be a little bit, unless their pitch is absolutely destroyed. Yes, Derby will be champions come 2024. Still quite... Oh, right. Okay, I know what you mean. Bristol Rovers have been good. I can see them getting a result. Not postponed. It ain't postponed. Do you reckon Derby still have a chance of automatics? I definitely think it's possible if we keep this form. I think it is. I think Derby are now sniffing down the neck of Ipswich, Sheffield Wednesday and Plymouth, a couple of points behind. We'll come on to Derby and Bolton's game because that is, of course, quite big when you look at the top 6 race and potentially the top 2 race. 2-1 to Rovers, says Pingo. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be the most attractive game of football. I don't. I'm pretty confident in saying that. I know Bristol Rovers can play really good stuff, but Wickham are going to try and stop them from doing that. And we know Joe Barton's side, they can play a little bit with their heels in the ground. Bristol Rovers, 38% chance of winning. Wickham, 37%. Really, really tight. Specifically, 36%, 47% as well towards Wickham. So really, really close. The odds can't really give a real clear winner there. 2-1 Rovers, 2-0 Wickham. I love it when the live chat have absolutely, and I'm in the same boat, no idea. 1-1 Rovers, 2-1 win. Bristol Rovers have been good. I can see them getting a result. 2-1. I can see a draw here. I can see 1-1, but then again, I do predict quite a few draws, and it never sort of goes the way I thought it would go. I'm gonna go Bristol. I'm swaying towards Bristol Rovers, but then I'm trying to sort of foreshadow me going in the roundup. Why would you ever write Wickham off? So I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. Because I know I'll predict... And you know what? Now I've said that, Wickham will go and win. But I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. I think it's going to be quite tight. I'm going to go 1-1. The odds are hard to split as well. Yeah, I'm going to go 1-1. They've got sort of similar play styles. They can play similar play styles, of course, and they have shown that. We know, but then I don't want to be too disrespectful towards Bristol Rovers because we know as well they can play some good stuff with the Joe Barton. I've said this before. I say it again. Derby are too far behind to get automatic promotion. They'll do what they did in losing the playoffs, but get automatics next season. Craig Highland says, evening all up the greens. Evening to you, Craig. Right then, let's move over to the next one. Frosty Rovers against MK Dons. 20 minutes to wrap this up. Love a little bit of technical difficulties at the start of the episode. Remember, if you haven't left a like, please do leave a like. I don't know how many likes we are on. Please do smash that like button. Please do subscribe as well on the road to 3.9 thousand subscribers. Thank you so much for all of your recent support. You can give your thoughts in the comment section when this goes up as a video as well. These are much more relaxed. Of course, we do live shows. We do the videos as well. Super relaxed, chatting about the football, sort of chatting to fans in the live chat. It's what sort of this is what you sort of get with these live streams. So hopefully you do enjoy it, and yeah, feel free to join if you haven't, if you're not watching this live, and continue to come in and give your thoughts in the live chat. Plymouth versus Cheltenham postponed due to the potential thrashing. Daniel Nathan is now postponing games through his eyes and through his thoughts. Let's have a little look then at this one. A little bit of a relegation 6-pointer, some people will say. MK Dons 22nd in the league. Cheltenham 24th. 22 points for MK Dons after 25 games played. Forest Green Rovers 26 games played, 21 points. You know what? I'm going to be pretty strong in saying I think MK Dons are going to win the game. And I know I've now said that it definitely won't happen. And I know MK Dons' recent form hasn't been exceptional. But I've got a feeling. I've got a feeling about Forest Green Rovers and how I do think they are one of the sides now that are going to really struggle unless they have an exceptional rest of this January transfer window to give a little bit of new energy across that team. You look at, they look quite flat. And I think psychologically, being bottom of the league, I know Burton and Morecambe were down there and they have had a little bit of resurgence, but not every club can have a resurgence. And I think Forest Green, I fear for them. MK Dons, though, and the reason why I do mention that and emphasise that a little bit, is because I'm still waiting for an MK Dons resurgence. I know I said every team can't. I know I've sort of given my thoughts on Forest Green. I do think they will go down. MK Dons, on the other hand, I feel they are going to have a little bit of a resurgence. It hasn't happened yet. It did happen with a sort of a couple of games with Lewington and then Jackson coming in his first match. And then last 3 games haven't been as great. I know they have had some quite difficult and challenging opponents. They drew their last game to Lincoln City, which wasn't a great game. Plymouth was obviously a really tough one. And Peterborough wasn't easy either. But this is a winnable game for MK Dons. And if we're going to talk about them now using the squad I think they do have, which is good, with Mark Jackson, this is a game that he'll be looking at. And even when he took the job, he'll look at this game and go, right, in our relegation fight, this is the reality. This is a game we've got to win. And he'll be switched on enough to know that. So I do see MK Dons winning the game. 39% towards MK Dons. Bookies-wise, Forest Green Rovers, 36%. 80 people watching right now. Please do leave a like, share the stream, all that kind of stuff. Give me your thoughts between this game, Forest Green Rovers hosting MK Dons. I want popcorn for the MK Dons match. Forest Green Rovers, worst team I've seen this season. I've watched them once, I think. As a unit, they did all right. They got a draw against Oxford, but individually, I do think they are second best a lot of the time. Forest Green Rovers will finish bottom. Yeah, Ruth, unfortunately, I do agree with you. I think Forest Green Rovers are struggling a little bit too much. 1-0 Forest Green Rovers. Brum game will give them confidence, even though they lost. And MK Dons are awful everywhere. Most boring game of the season. MK Dons have their MK Dons had their mini resurgence, I think that's all they're having. Maybe I'm sort of caught in the headlights of the MK Dons potential resurgence, Alex. Maybe you are right. I've just seen someone there say rest in peace Anton Walks as well, which I want to say rest in peace to Anton. To Anton, of course, a Portsmouth player, and that's sort of where I'm seeing all of the stories come from. But I saw it on the Portsmouth Twitter. I've seen it, of course, my friend Tom spoke to me about it briefly as well. And put it on his story and sort of did share it, and also did sort of share his condolences to the family and everybody involved with Portsmouth, everyone that he sort of played with before. Obviously very, very sad and upsetting. Never nice to see that. Yeah, really, really upsetting. So rest in peace to him. Thoughts with his family at this time. Right then, did I predict that one? Did I even predict it? I didn't. I think I said MK Dons are going to win the game. I'm going to go Forest Green Rovers to lose 2-0 to MK Dons. I'm backing MK Dons there. I am. So, let's move on to the next one. Then let's go to... Where should we head next? Let's go to Peterborough. Peterborough? Let's do it. We've got now quarter of an hour. Peterborough United versus... A bit of a countdown, by the way. I'm going live on Tom's channel, 4-0 written all over it, discussing John Messina, of course, current player coach at Oxford United. Potentially looks like he's set to join Pompey as their new manager. That's why we're in a little bit of a rush and why it's at 6 o'clock instead of 7. So then, Peterborough United versus Charlton Athletic. Peterborough 7th in the league, of course, got their first win under Darren Ferguson for the 4th time as manager. He's won his first game as Peterborough United boss, of course, over Port Vale. Not an easy game, that. Not an easy game. A lot of people thought that would be a potential banana skin. We know Port Vale this season have been very, very good, but he got the job done. 2-0, comfortable away from home. Charlton as well, you can see here as well. Just by the way, I've just seen Shrewsbury on loan to Bolton. Mark Goldbridge has just said that. Really, really good, by the way, for Bolton. That's an exceptional pickup. That's exciting. Shrewsbury, I think I put him forward as a player that Ipswich had signed last January, and even in the summer, I think, because of that McKenna link potentially with Manchester United. Really exciting youngster. Good League One move for him. Excited by that. Give me your thoughts while we do discuss this game, and we'll touch on the Bolton game in a minute. I don't know whether he'll be available for that. He could be. I know Ian Everett has been speaking about potentially this exciting deal. That is exciting. I do agree with that. Charlton, 12th in the league, but under Dean Holden now, something's happening. Something could be happening. 3 straight wins, of course, difficult games as well. 2-0, comfortable over Barnsley. Again, Barnsley did have their moments in the game, but Charlton, they stood strong and they look better. They do look better. I remember watching them at the start of the month. I think it was right at the start of the month, wasn't it? At the Kassam, they looked dreadful. I'll be honest, they looked absolutely all over the shop. But recently, couple of players coming in. Todd Kane, I think he got injured in his first game, which isn't ideal, but I think he's a good player to bring in on loan. McCulley Bond is a striker who does score goals and has scored goals in League One before. So, I don't know. Charlton, there's something happening here. There's something happening. But again, I say that about a lot of teams, and it doesn't go very well. Yes, the best team, Charlton. Charlton win 4-0 Peterborough, 2-1 Charlton. Lee Burton and McCulley Bond to score his first goal back since he was there. I think there was a youngster. I think it was at Leighton Orient as a youngster. I think he might have been there, not as a youngster, before he moved to QPR. 3-1, 2-1 Bond to get the win. I say 3-0 Charlton. What is it? Is this official? It might not be official, Brandon, but it is happening. It is a done deal. 2-1 Clark Harris, Lee Burn and Blackett Taylor, but Raksaki and Fraser attempting for assists. Peterborough are a good team. 2-0 Charlton. 1-1. Charlton have had a good run of form recently, beating big hitters Barnsley when they were on the amazing form. Posh have shown they can score, but shown they're shaky defensively. It'll be a good game. 3-0 to Charlton. 3-0 to Charlton. The bookies say 54%. Wow, that is surprising. People are definitely backing Charlton with their recent form, and Peterborough's hot and cold sort of recent form. But you've got to remember, it almost is a fresh start now. I say it's a fresh start. They have appointed the manager that, of course, isn't very fresh. He's been there 4 times. But 54%, 25% to Charlton. So the bookies heavily going towards Charlton. I'm going to go a draw, you know. I'm going to go 2-2. High scoring draw, Peterborough versus Charlton. 2-2, I'm going to go with there. Although Charlton are doing very, very well, I think Peterborough now, first home game back for Darren Ferguson. I think saying like it's a fresh start. He's been there 4 times. But I do think there will be a little of a bounce there. Because Darren Ferguson, whether you like it or not, he does get a bounce out of those Peterborough players. That sounds weird. Or did I make it weird? I don't know. Gets a bounce out of those players? No, that is fair. That sounds fine. That's just me overthinking things. Right then, Shrewsbury against Cambridge United. 93 people watching right now. Please do smash a like. Let's move over to the final 5 games. We've got 15 minutes. Amazing stuff. 15 minutes. Oh, absolutely no problem at all. So, of course, Shrewsbury 14th in the league. I got a little bit of stick last time. Got a little bit of a stick, which is fair. I'm happy. I can take it. I went in a little bit on Shrewsbury after their recent form not going very well, and they got reminded that there has been quite a few injuries recently. So, I apologise for that, Shrewsbury. But they shut me up. They did what Karma does best and absolutely slapped me around the face. And they won their recent games. So fair play to Shrewsbury. I haven't got a vendetta against them. They are a physical side, though. They are quite aggressive. They are going to make it quite challenging for Cambridge, who are in that bottom 4. You can see 21st in the league, 24 points, 3 defeats on the bounce. Mark McKenna? Mark Bonner's side, of course, are struggling at the moment, and he'll know the importance of getting themselves out of this rut they're currently facing. We haven't got Shrewsbury odds, but we have got Cambridge's, which is 21%. I imagine Shrewsbury's is fairly high with that, and also been the home side as well. I'm back in Shrewsbury, unfortunately. Mark Bonner, we do go way back, but life's tough sometimes, and I think you're facing at the moment with Cambridge, the bad form. Maybe they can surprise a few people, but form does speak volumes. I'm going to go 2-0 to Shrewsbury in this game. Right then, let's fire over to, which ones haven't we done? We've done those ones, we've done that. We're nearly there. Not really. I think we've still got about 4 games. We've got time. Pompey against Exeter. People are going to be asking me to give my thoughts on it all day. I've had messages. Was John Massinho good for you? What's your thoughts on John Massinho? He's never managed a game before. I don't know. My thoughts on him as a centre-back, I can give you that. He's experienced. He's a very good leader. He's a very good speaker. He's played a lot of games in the EFL. He has been our club captain for a long time. As a manager, I don't know. As a coach, he's our set-piece coach. So, again, quite a difficult one. Did I expect it? Absolutely not. You'd have told me that. I probably would have fallen over. Man United youngster Shona Materio signed for Bolton on loan. Thank you very much to the 72 podcast. Shrewsbury 1-1, 2-1 the Shrews. Charlton massive everywhere we go. 3-0 to Shrewsbury. 3-0 to Shrewsbury. Cambridge can't seem to do anything right now. Shrewsbury have the quality to treble every team. 4-0 to Shrewsbury. Exeter win. 3-0 Exeter University. 2-0 Pompey win. Underwhelming managerial appointment, Andrew. John Messina is going to be the best appointment they've ever had. Just joined. Has he done the Ramsey? I haven't. Yeah, no, look, I won't touch it too much because I want to sort of spoil what I'm going to say on the other video that Tom's doing on his channel. That is a Portsmouth channel. But I will give my thoughts briefly on it while we look at the league table. In fact, I'll leave the league table in front of you. Ultimately, and I'll use the league table as a bit of a conversation starter for this bit of a debate. They are 15th, they are struggling, and they need to, they need to appoint a manager. I think it's been 3 weeks now since Danny Cali was sacked. Was John Messina the first choice? No, I don't care what people say. He wasn't the first choice. I don't know who was. Maybe Chris Wilder was in there, but realistically, financially, and the gravitas, maybe it wasn't possible. Liam Richardson ruled himself out. Clark, of course, is the Port Vale manager, ruled himself out. Who else has ruled themselves out? Grant McCann, maybe there's something in his contract there. We can't leave Peterborough and join a club this quickly, potentially. Either way, they're not going to be, and it looks like it's going to be John Messina. That is, top journalists are saying that is pretty much a done deal. Verbal agreement. It looks like tomorrow it could be announced officially. Is it a good appointment? I don't know. I mean, no one's going to know. And that's not just John Messina's case because he hasn't got any experience. That's the same with any appointment. They could have brought in Chris Wilder. People would say it's a really good appointment, but again, he could flop, and then people would say it's a bad one. But I guess when you're looking at a reaction to an appointment, you're looking at, right, what do we know about this guy? I mean, I get it. It's not very inspiring because he hasn't got any experience as a manager. But he's got to prove himself. He's got to prove himself. He is the chair of the PFA, so he clearly is highly rated by fans and by players. I think it is players, actually, not fans. But even the supporters at Oxford United, there is a sense of he almost was sort of lined up to be Carl Robinson's replacement, if he did go there. So there is a bit of continuity, maybe from Oxford's perspective, and letting him go is obviously frustrating. But you can't say no to John Messina speaking to Portsmouth. This is a huge job for him. It's a huge job for him, an opportunity that I understand he can't turn down. So you're not going to hold him back from that. You're not going to say, John, no, you can't go and be new Portsmouth head coach and stay and be our set piece coach and being technically still an apprentice. He still is a player. He scored against MK Dons in the season. He could play centre back against Ipswich. I mean, he wouldn't. But he could play against Ipswich centre back for Oxford on Saturday. That's how close he is to the playing staff. Exeter, of course, they'll be looking at Pompey's recent form. I don't know whether or not he's going to be in position, Messina, for the game against Exeter. I think he's probably going to be in the stands watching his side at Fratton Park. But there's going to want to be a reaction. The players know that now he's a new manager, imminent. That probably will see a bit of a bounce. 49%, 29% to Exeter. So actually the bookies are going towards the non-managerial club that is Pompey, even though Exeter's really good form. Now, I do see a bounce to these players. I do. I do. To be honest, even though I've watched Pompey recently, and they have been dreadful. 100 people right now giving their thoughts. Plank you so much. Plank you. We can go with that. Plank you so much. Thank you so much. Please leave a like. 2-0 Exeter, unless Messina comes in before the game. Pompey on a horrendous form. Exeter have done well against most of the big teams. Wouldn't be surprised if Portsmouth beat us, especially if we won't play much better than we did against Frightening Rovers. That is true. Exeter did draw their last game. I think appointment. They need an experienced manager. Pompey need to get back down, reorganised for the future. 1-1 says ITFC. I'm going to go 2-0 Portsmouth. Sorry, Exeter. I am. I think Portsmouth will see the manager in the stands and go, right, we need to impress now because this is a situation. We haven't got Bassi. It probably will be managing that game or on the touchline for that game, but we know now there is a bit of a long-term plan. I'm going to go 2-0 Pompey, but maybe again I'm being sort of. I've got my Messina technical glasses on, if you like. Right then, let's whiz through the last 3 games. Sorry, we are in a little bit of a rush. More about the Pompey situation very soon. Plymouth versus Cheltenham. Plymouth top of the table, but 2 draws in their last 5 games. Back-to-back draws recently, but they are still top of the tree. A late winner. They wished a late winner. A late equaliser. Felt like a late winner, I imagine, from Ballymumba against Ipswich Town on Saturday. A brilliant result for them. A defeat would have made it very, very close, but now that draw does give them, again, a little bit of a cushion. They have got Sheffield Wednesday with a game in hand behind them, but you still feel now Plymouth, the real momentum, the real rhythm. They're getting going again now with 2 quite difficult games and the draws they've had. Now you expect them to beat Cheltenham at home. Their home record, of course, is very, very good. In fact, I believe you can see by looking at the home record as well, they've won 12 games from 13 when they are at home. Cheltenham, we spoke about Matt, and we spoke to Matt earlier in the show. Cheltenham have had some really difficult games recently, but again, you do feel now they are picking things up, potentially with after Plymouth, because again, these are quite some difficult games, but they can't get dragged back into it. Cheltenham 3 defeats on the bounce. I'm going to go solid Plymouth win here. I'm going to go 3-0 Plymouth. I think Plymouth are going to win it comfortably. I think they should, really. Bookies, briefly have a look at it, but I don't want to sort of spend too much time on it because I think, in fact, do we have bookies odds? We don't even know bookies odds. That says that, doesn't it? No, I think Plymouth will win the game, regardless of what the odds are saying. I think Plymouth should and will win the game. Right then, is that the final game on that? No, we've got 3 more games. Let's rally through these ones. Should be okay. Is that right? Right then, Port Vale against Peterborough. No, that's a game that's happened. That's not right. Let's break down a game. Let's preview and predict a game that isn't going to happen. 2-0 Plymouth, 3-3 Ballymumba, hat-trick, Alfie May, hat-trick. Do not write off Cheltenham. They've made it really tough for us against, though. We're the best defensive record in the league. I'd say 2-1 Argyle, but Cheltenham are very good against us. Plymouth 3-0. Cheltenham will be easy for them. Interesting. Why is this Sheffield Wednesday game not happening? We can speak about it anyway, though. Sheffield Wednesday face Fleetwood. We know Fleetwood's away record is very, very good. I think that will make it, a little bit more difficult for Sheffield Wednesday. But I think the rhythm that Wednesday are on right now, they look really, really good. They are the side for me that behind Ipswich are doing a really, really good job. Is the stream lagging? I imagine it might be lagging a little bit. No, I don't think it is, actually. But no, I think the Fleetwood being away does benefit them. They are better away than they are at home. But again, you feel the Wednesday sort of momentum that they're on at the moment. They are the side for me, potentially catching Plymouth. And I've got a video about Sheffield Wednesday coming out tomorrow. So, yeah, I think Sheffield Wednesday will win the game. We're still live. Hello, mate, Ipswich fan. 2-1 to Wednesday, 3-0 Ipswich. Sorry, mate. McKenna to Pompey. That's... I'm not sure what you've been drinking tonight. Craig Highland would love a draw. 2 on Wednesday. Hello, mate. Ipswich fan here. Oxford normally to get a draw out of us, but not on Boxing Day. Wednesday need to come out of the blocks fast. Fleet will be no pushover. 2-0 Wednesday win. Yeah, I'm going to go over Sheffield Wednesday 3-1 win. I think Sheffield Wednesday will win the game, but you're very right. Fleetwood will make it challenging because they always seem to score away from home. I think that record is continuing. They've scored in every away game. I could be wrong. Chat, do let me know. Still feel Sheffield Wednesday versus Derby last game of the season. Big up the blocks. When a club loses to Charlton, we extremely poor. When a club loses to Charlton, we play extremely poor that game. Either 2-1 Wednesday or 1-1. Interesting. You've got to be careful with Fleetwood. You have. Right then, Oxford United against Ipswich Town. You can see Ipswich third in the league. 3 draws in the last 3 games. Oxford, don't know what you're going to get, really. Don't know what you're going to get. By the way, if you haven't watched my preview specifically on this game, chatting about it with Alex Griffin, of course, he'll be doing a vlog on this game. Definitely go and chat to him. You can chat to him if you want, but you can watch that and leave your thoughts in the comment section. But no, very confident Ipswich, as you can imagine. We played them really recently on Boxing Day. They wiped us off the floor. They were incredible. They won the game 3-0. They looked unstoppable. They looked absolutely... going forward, you absolutely couldn't stop them, and that is a concern. Oxford weren't good. That is really, really important, and we did get battered, but hopefully we learn a few lessons here. We are now playing at home, which hopefully that can make a potential difference. Let's have a look at the odds here. I imagine, evens, Ipswich, 28%, Oxford United. Maybe... It's difficult. Ipswich, are they going to continue on the form they've got now? Or are they going to be smelling blood and go, right, we need to start winning this game because they've got a real now push. If they want to stay in the top 2 race, this is a must-win game. This is a must-win game. Alex said it, I agree. This is a must-win game. But Oxford are saying we now need to back up the sort of smash and grab against Fleetwood we had on Saturday, and we need to win it to stay in contention. So I expect a really interesting match here. Couple Oxford beat Ipswich for Wednesday, 2-1 Oxford win, 2-1 Ipswich, McKenna to Cheltenham. Daniel, keep drinking what you're drinking, mate. I'm not quite sure what that is. Tight by Ipswich, nick it. 1-1. Oxford 10-0, I hope. But Ipswich 1-0. Oxford will make it difficult. Ipswich will be deflated after the last 3 games being 3 draws. Alex, I think you're right. On the other hand of that, they're going to be now thinking, right, we need to get into gear. We know we can beat these lot. I don't know. I'll worry about that. Come on, Oxford, help the Rams out. We'll try our best, mate. We'll try our best. We're trying to help us out. And if that helps you out, then we all win. Jokes aside, Oxford 2-0. Interesting. I'm going to go... Heart says we win the game 2-0. We won't, though. I'm going to go... No, I'm going to back us. I'm going 1-1. I'm going 1-1. Get laughing. Laugh in the chat. It's fine by me. Laugh. Laugh in my face. But I'm going to go 1-1. I think we could have learned a little bit there. 1-1 isn't a great result for anybody, really, either of us. So I think we're both going to try and win the game, which is dangerous. Right then, finally, Bolton Wanderers going to Derby County, the big one. Get your thoughts in the comment section right now. Please do leave a like and subscribe. The final game on a little bit of a rush right now. 2 minutes time, I'm going live on Tom's channel to speak about Portsmouth and John Messino. But Derby against Bolton Wanderers, you can see by looking at the league table. If it does show, here we go. Derby are 4th, Bolton are 5th, and now Bolton, we spoke about inconsistencies. They're now finding consistency. Derby, 3 straight wins now. I've seen a few people in the chat getting quite excited about the Rams maybe pushing on to get into the top 2, maybe the top 3 as well. I'm intrigued by it. I'm intrigued by how Derby sort of continuing on this sort of run they're going on. Was this 0-0? This was the game that finished 0-0, and I waited an entire day for the video, and it was 0-0. So I can see it again. 2-1 Derby win, 2-0 Derby, 3-1 Ipswich, 4-3 Wanderers. Bolton are a good team, but we're home, so we did do them automatically. 2-2 Bolton, Oxford 96-minute equaliser. We can dream. We can dream. We can. 2-1 Derby. Interesting. Hope for a draw, obviously. Yeah, I can see a draw. You know what? I can see 0-0 again. I can see 0-0. But I'm not going to go 0-0 because I want to see a goal. I'm going to go 1-1. But I won't be surprised if it's a draw. I think these games do get hyped up quite a lot. I think there's a lot of pressure, really, because they know, Bolton can still get in contention with a win. We've still got a lot of games to go, and Derby are now already sort of putting that maybe pressure on themselves. So, yeah, both sides have been very, very good recently, and I've been really impressed by them. Final chat then before we end the stream. In fact, let's make sure we can just be one click away. Sorry for the rush, guys. Not normally this quick and rushed, but yeah, we've got lots of things to do, unfortunately, tonight. Derby at home, unplayable. Hurst will jump over Oxford players if Hurst does concern me. Is Broadhead fit? Let me know, please. Bolton 2-0. Hope it shuts the Derby fans up. Bolton 1 conceded a few games. Derby will have a show back to reality. Derby haven't beaten any big teams recently. Daniel loves McKenna. Maybe he does. He likes actually pushing McKenna to other jobs. Maybe he's McKenna's agent. I wouldn't want to leave Ipswich at the moment, though. Anyway, thank you so much, everybody that's got involved. 103 people watching right now. Please do leave a like and subscribe. I know I've said that quite a lot recently, but the growth of the podcast is really, really good. I'm certainly enjoying it. I've been Jack. It's been the Unfan Podcast Roundup coming out on Sunday, as per usual. Sheffield Wednesday coming out tomorrow. Literally, as soon as this ends now, I'm going over to Tom's channel. Right, so stop this. I'm going to go, and I'll see you on Tom's channel in just a second. Say that I sent you, and I'll see the chat as well. I'll see you very, very soon.